Welcome to On Rails blog. I'm John Beatty. Today we're going to talk about remote form submissions. Now, this is where you just click a checkbox and a submission is sent to the server does whatever it needs to do. But there's no submit buttons or anything like that. It all handles in the background. The best part is we can do this so easily with Stimulus and just a little bit of tweaks on our just scaffolded templates. So let's get started. All right, so I've got a new app here that we're going to start. We'll just call it To-Do app. We're going to use Tailwind for the styling, and we're going to use ESBuild for the JavaScript management. So enter, get that going. I've got my app all set up. Now what I'm going to do quickly is go to the layout application.html, and I need to add a bit here so that we can use our morphing for Turbo. And what that's just going to be is two little tags. We're going to refresh with morph, and we're going to preserve the scroll, and then an ability to yield whatever we put in the head tag. So let's get started by building a to-do model. So I'm going to just use the generic scaffolding, Rails G scaffold. To-do, it has a name, it's completed, and that completed is going to be Boolean. I go to my routes file, we'll make the root to-dos index. Okay, let's run the migrations. Let's run our server. It's great. Refresh the page, and we've got a pretty plain looking to-dos. So one of the things I like to do is just kind of clean this up a bit. So I'm going to go to the index page. Refresh that, restyle that. Okay, so if we look at our to-do partial, so if we look at the index page, it renders the to-do. It has a link to show a particular to-do. Let's go ahead and make a new to-do. Let's call this watch screencast, and it's definitely not done yet. Back to to-dos, we got a pretty plain looking one right there. So let's go ahead and style this a little bit. Let's put a margin around here. Let's put a border. Let's make it rounded. Let's go to the to-do itself. And this is where we're going to be forming most of our work. We can clean this up. So to-do.completed should come up. Put that on the left-hand side, the to-do name. Save that, format that. So false because it's not completed, watch screencast. Let's style this a little bit, put a border on the bottom. Let's put some padding on the x-axis. Get that. Oh, and let's go back to the index. We don't need this show at the moment. So pretty plain. Okay, now false is not very helpful. So let's go ahead and make this a checkbox. So input type. Yep, so there's a checkbox right there. We're going to make it checked if our to-do is completed. Refresh that. Okay, that's good. So we got a checkbox, we got a to-do. Now, of course, when I check this, nothing happens on the server side. So it'd be really great if we could actually send that off to our server based on what goes on. So let's go ahead, wrap this in a form with model. It's going to be the to-do item. Wrap this. Let's go ahead and just put a submit button for now as we work through this. Submit form. We'll change this input tag. Completed. Okay. So now we've got a box here. We can click update, and then actually updates it, and we see that it's here. So pretty nice. Okay. Now what I would really want is just when I click this checkbox, it actually updates. Because if I click it right now and refresh, it doesn't keep track of it. So we can do that with a stimulus controller. Let's go ahead and generate the controller. So Rails G stimulus. We'll call this remote submission. So we get a nice remote submission controller here. Let's open that one up. Connect remote submission looks pretty straightforward. Okay. And since we're going to connect this to a form, let's get rid of it. Change this to a submit action, and then we're going to do this .element.submit, and that's just going to send the form to the server. We don't have to do anything else with that. Then if we go back to our to-do, let's wire up our controller with a data attribute. Just like that, and then we're going to say data action, and this is going to be remote submission #submit. And so checking this box is going to trigger the action, and that's going to just call our submit method on the remote submission controller, and that should submit the form as it is. So let's refresh the page, check that, and you see that the whole page changed, right? So no need to do anything fancy with that. Back to to-dos. Uncheck, it was submitted successfully. That's awesome. So that means we can get rid of our submit button, just like that. We can refresh the page, and now we see watch screencast. Let's see, let's make this, use the flex box, just to put it in a row like that. Okay. The last thing we notice when we click this, it sends us back here. It'd be great if we just kept on this screen, just for a little bit of usability, so we're not jumping around too much. So let's go to our to-dos controller, and what we're going to do is just change that when we update this, instead of redirecting to the to-do URL with the to-do, let's redirect to to-dos URL. Get rid of that to-do, save that. So now you see we're still on this index page. And this has all happened with just a little bit of stimulus and a little bit of Turbo managing everything like that. I hope this is really helpful. You can see how you can do just a little bit of interactivity, just a little bit of stimulus. No need to rewrite everything with a full JavaScript front end. And it interacts complete with what our existing Rails application does. So enjoy. Have a great day.